Okay, so today I am going to do a little tutorial on how to use Neverwet. And I am going to coat my boots with it, so might as well just get started here. As you can see, I've set this up and I've put a couple wine bottles in my boots to keep a lot of the spray from getting in the boots, because apparently this stuff is not great for fabric, but it's good for like leather and other things like that. And really what I should have done is probably clean these up a bit more before spraying them. So I may actually do that before we actually get really started here. So hold that thought. Okay, so I got my boots all cleaned up here. So I'm going to get started with the application here. The one thing you want to remember is to shake the can for about a minute before you start spraying to get it all shook up in there. And you want to hear the actual rattle of that metal ball in there. And then they also recommend that when you spray, you're only spraying a fine coating, but you can do it several times in one application. Alright, and always when you're doing this stuff, you want to be in a well-ventilated area, obviously. And you can do a test spray on some cardboard to see how it applies. Alright, looks pretty good. I'm going to get started here. Just wanted to make sure I'm using the first coat first here. So, seeing as it says you can apply multiple coats, I'm going to let this sit for just a minute here, and then I'm going to apply one more coat. It says 2 to 3 is recommended. Okay, I'm going to apply my second base coat. Feels like it's going on a little thick here, but you know, I'm no expert at this stuff. Alright, so that's 2 coats there. I am going to spray out the rest of this upside down to clear out this can nozzle. And let this dry for 30 minutes. Okay, step 2. So we've applied our first coat, and now I am going to shake up the second can. Now, just a little spoiler alert, the second can application is basically identical to the first, so really you're just going to see me do the exact same thing again here. It looks like when I'm looking at the boots here that they have a little fine coating on them now. And I'm assuming that when I apply this second step, that's just going to sort of add to that. So be aware that that's the one sort of note I would give anybody who's going to do this, is don't apply this stuff to anything that you really care about keeping the same texture to, because it does affect the leather, it does affect the material that you're putting it on. So I think we're ready to do part 2. Let's test this out. And same thing, you can apply multiple thin coats of this rather than a thick coat. And I'm going to try and do that a little bit better this time. I'm going to let that sit for a couple minutes and then do one more coat and we'll be done. Alright, I'm calling it. So now I'm going to let this sit for another 30 minutes, and that should be pretty much waterproof. So maybe we'll do a test after it's dried. Okay, so it's been 30 minutes, and this is the earliest in which you can actually test to see if whatever you've treated is now waterproof. So I'm just going to test a little bit of it because the Neverwet instructions recommend you wait up to 12 hours for maximum effectiveness, but I sort of can't wait. So you may be able to see on here areas that got sprayed more have more of a discoloration. So be aware of that. It does really look different than when it started out. So here's some water. I'm going to pour this on here and let's see how well it worked. It's just bouncing right off of that. That is pretty cool. That is amazing. It just rolls right off. So there you have it. Proof positive. Neverwet works on boots, and that's how you do it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, hit like or subscribe or leave me a comment. Thanks.